established several committees for health and education, and one of the committees was for libraries. And that library committee was very insistent that we buy everything that was ever published about Afghanistan. And they sent my husband home to make the list. My husband was a very, very patient man. So he came after some days and he explained to the committee that a tremendous amount had been written about Afghanistan. And Akbar could not afford to buy all of this because they were original volumes, editions, and not all of them had been reprinted. So even, he said, if Akbar has the money to buy them, there will be so many you cannot afford to find a place to put it. It will have to be so big. And he said, even if you find the money to buy the books and find the money to store the books, he said, I guarantee you that not even 1% of the people working here with Afghan refugees will come and read this very expensive stuff. He said, this is not what you need. You don't need the past. What you have to do is to look at the present and the future. He said, there is an incredible opportunity now. The refugees are coming from very remote areas to Pakistan. And these areas have been so remote that they haven't been touched or studied by all the anthropologists and linguists and other people who have been scholars who have been studying Afghanistan for a long time. So he said, this is an opportunity. You are now working with people who have not been in touch with the outside world very much. Now you are finding out what are they going to accept from your aid and what don't they want. He said, this is not only valuable now when you're working for them in the camps, but it will be invaluable. All this information will be invaluable when the refugees go home and you have development projects. So he said that you need to collect what you yourself, the reports and the surveys and the opinion polls and all these things that you yourselves are generating. So Akbar accepted this, and they established, at that time it was called ARIC, Afghan Resource and Information Center. And they began to collect documents from the NGOs, from the UN, from bilaterals, about what was going on in the camps. What programs were successful? Which ones were failing? Why were they failing? And the other thing was, aside from this big idea of Louis for the future, it was important to cut down on duplication and also to build on successes rather than on failures. So we started ARIC, and we began to get all these documents. And in 2001, when all the UN and the NGOs made a big rush to Kabul after the Taliban had left, ARIC didn't come. Akbar came, but ARIC didn't come. Because I was very vulnerable. It was all paper. I had no backups. No backups at all. So they would send them here, and there were bombs falling all over the place, and it was too vulnerable, and the situation was too uncertain. But then, after 2004-5, you elected a president, you elected a parliament, and things seemed to be more stable. So that in 2005 we brought, at that time, 36,000 documents we had. And I came to Kabul with 36,000 documents and no place to put them. So Ashraf Ghani was the chancellor of the Kabul University then. And he was an old friend. So I went to him and I said, John, where am I going to put this? Oh, he said, put it in the library. I said, if I was a librarian for the Kabul University, and some old lady came and said, I'm going to put 36 documents in your library, he said, I would tell them to go somewhere. That's a terrible imposition. But the librarian, Rehana Popal, was so gracious and so cooperative. So she gave me two rooms. One was upstairs in their hall, and then there was a big room downstairs for the documents. So it was good. I had a home for them. But now, in addition to collecting documents from the NGOs and the UN and all those people, now I was collecting documents from the Afghan government. So the collections were growing very, very quickly. And I knew that very soon that I would have no space. So I went to President Karzai, and he was very supportive, and sent me to Mr. Hani, who was at the Minister of Finance, and they very kindly appropriated $2 million for the building of this center. Okay, so now I had money, but where to build? So I went to Sharif Fayez, who was Minister of Higher Education, and he understood immediately. He understood what I wanted to do. He said, let's take a walk. So we walked all around the campus, and they said, this is the place you should go. It's near Jamaluddin Afghani, a great scholar, it's near his monument. It's in the center, so that students can come easily. And so the university very kindly set aside this plot for the building. So that's how the building got here, and now you've seen we have over 80,000 documents because it's grown very quickly. We like to collect anything that is related to Afghanistan. It doesn't matter how small it is. Of course, we have the documents about the political developments, we have documents about the economics, we have documents about the aid system, but we also collect You know, there's a magazine here called Scene.
Yeah.
Now, I was very insistent. I said, we must collect this. People said, if it's not important, why do we do it? Why? That's just for the Harijis, and it's not important. I said, 50 years from now, people are doing research about what was going on in Afghanistan here. They need to know that there were so many restaurants and what these silly Harijis are doing here. I know because, you know, before the Inquilabissau, I published 5 guidebooks. And my guidebook on Kabul, well, all of the guidebooks actually, Kabul and Herat and all of them, it has a section for restaurants and for shopping. And people now are so interested. They said, oh my goodness, we didn't know that before the Inquilabissau you had so many restaurants there. So this is part of the dynamics of the society, is your entertainment and your shopping and where are the goods coming from, what kind of goods were available, what kind of restaurants did people like to go to. So we collect things, not only and the high things like politics, economics, but we just the simple things. So that's why we have so many down here.
Thank you very much.
Okay?
It was very valuable. I saw you a lot in the TV.